everybody, it's Luxury Car Girl. Today I'm going to be reviewing a 2020 Tesla Model 3. So I have this key card, which is used for the key. So I'm going to turn it on. So the Tesla Model 3 is pretty basic inside. It either comes in black seats or white seats, and the white seats are an additional option, but in my opinion, they're definitely worth it. It's just a large screen here. There's really no buttons other than these two on the steering wheel, and it's super easy to start it up. You just have this little key card and you tap right here, and you obviously can't hear the engine making a noise, but you can hear this little ding ding thing. So now I'm going to shut the door and back out, and you'll be able to hear the loud noise that it emits. Sounds pretty cool, right? It's definitely different than an engine. So now I am in the Tesla Model 3. I'll say it's definitely smoother than a gas engine car. It takes some getting used to because there's not a bunch of gears, so there's not a lot of throttle. But it definitely jolts you back a little bit because it's just one speed. It's very quick. This screen is pretty nice. You can have, I'll edit this. You have a digital display on the screen, which is really nice. It tells you what the speed limit is and how fast you're going. The only annoying thing is that I prefer to have the speed right in front of me. I feel like I'm always turning my head to the right, and that can be a little annoying at times. It is a big screen though, which is super nice, and it's really good in sunny conditions as well. Like there's not so much glare. Right now I'm in Arizona and it's been super sunny every single day. The map is really nice. It's not Apple CarPlay, which is a little frustrating. Their GPS system isn't the best. They have a lot of roads that say unnamed roads, so sometimes you don't know exactly where you're turning, but it's pretty good. And then you can connect your Spotify to the screen as well, which I really like, and then it'll have like the artwork and the song, and you can change it from here. You can't search on your Spotify unless you pay extra for the connectivity, but that's not that much. I would say it's like $20 a month or so. The lane assist is really nice. It will actually warn you if you're getting too close to a car in front of you, and it'll brake for you. So I like that about the car. There's a lot of really good technology here. Before I rented this Tesla, I wasn't really a big fan of Tesla. I don't really like Elon Musk that much. She's kind of a dick. And I just really was very against Tesla as a whole. But after driving this car, I actually really like it. And you can get them used for pretty cheap. You can get like a 2020 with low miles for under 40,000. And then you also get the autopilot, which is my favorite part. And that's what I'm about to do next. So after I turn right, I'm gonna start the autopilot. And what you have to do to start the autopilot is you have to be driving the car, and then you just press the stalk down twice. And then it'll ding, and it'll say, please keep your hands on the wheel. You can set a speed limit of however much you want over the max. So I put 8 over. So the car is gonna go 58. And as you can see, it's staying in this lane. My feet are not on the gas, not on the brakes, my hands are not on the wheels. But if you take your hands off the wheels for about 15 seconds, something will pop up on the screen and it'll say, please turn the wheel slightly. So let's wait for that to come on. Nothing is touching the vehicle right now. It's pretty neat. It stays in the lane perfectly. It's very precise. Tesla definitely has the autopilot system down. So a red light is coming up here. Let's see if it brakes. It's braking. And still, I don't have my feet anywhere. I don't have my hands anywhere. It recognizes the red light here in the screen, and it can recognize different types of cars, how fast they're going, what size they are. So that's pretty neat. Okay, so the light turned green. The car is starting right now. Again, my hands are not on the wheel and my feet are not on the pedals. Now this popped up. It says apply slight turning force to steering wheel. So it popped up because my hands weren't on it, and they just want to make sure that you're paying attention. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I drove this 30 minutes, pitch black, through the desert, and it knew where it was going. It kept up with the speed limits. It stayed a good distance between cars. It accelerated nicely, not too fast. It de-accelerated pretty nicely as well. It didn't slam on the brakes. It did it very gradually. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan. I mean, I'm not touching anything, so if I'm in a rush, or wants me to turn it. If I'm in a rush and I have a few text messages to catch up on, I know you're not supposed to text while driving, obviously, but it's really nice to have the vehicle drive for you. And that is probably the main reason why I would ever consider getting a Tesla, is because their autopilot is so good. There are other cars that have autopilot, like, oh, it just turned off. I don't think it liked me having my hands off for too long. But there are a lot of other cars that have autopilot features. There's a Jaguar I-Pace, which is an all-electric car. There's the Chevy Bolt. The new Cadillac, I forget the name of it, but it's also an electric car. They have autopilot as well as the Polestar. And obviously there's a few cars from like BMW, Mercedes, Audi that also have it, but it's not full driving capability. So it might only work with lane assisting on the highway. It might not recognize stoplights, but Tesla can literally drive the car for you wherever you want to go, on any road, any condition. So that's why I really like it, because it's all inclusive and you don't have to worry about it. Obviously, if you're not paying attention, the car will know and it will shut it off for you. And I think on the screen, when I first selected autopilot, it said something along the lines of you have 5 tries to do autopilot correctly. So I rented the car and there was already someone that didn't do it correctly, so they have like 1 strike. I've had this car for almost a week now and I haven't had any strikes. I mean, I've not had my hands on the wheel and autopilot turned off, but I didn't do it incorrectly. I don't know what it takes for you to do it incorrectly and get a strike, but I know that they give you 5, which is good because they do need to protect themselves, and the autopilot is considered in beta right now, so that's also another way for them to protect themselves. But yes, the car can fully drive itself, so I really like that about Tesla. Overall, it's a pretty good car. I really like this glass roof here, panoramic. It's not too bright either, so you don't have a ton of sun coming down, but you still get some sun coming through, which is really nice and good for your mood. The steering wheel feels super nice. The only thing is I wish that there were more buttons, because even to turn the sound up or down, you have to touch it, you have to look at the screen, so you have to look right, and then you have to move it around, which is pretty annoying. Like, I wish I could just have a knob and turn it up or down, or just press a button to turn the air on. So that's the only caveat. But yeah, other than that, I would give this car probably an 8 out of 10. I feel like they cheaped out a little bit on the parts. I know a lot of people that were receiving their new Teslas had a lot of issues with the seats not being good quality, ripping, the seats growing mold if left in a very wet condition. I'm gonna edit that out. But yeah, Tesla definitely cheaped out a little bit with their seats, and the lack of buttons is pretty frustrating. I know a lot of the electric cars are switching over to that type of system where it's just one big screen and less buttons. So that's nice, to where you don't have to fix a lot of issues. It's just a screen with software that you can update from your phone. But I definitely miss feeling buttons. And then the dashboard, I mean, it's pretty cheap looking. Like, it just looks like faux leather. There's nothing special about it. I prefer the white seats and the white accents any day over black. I feel like you can see the lines better. I will say the seats are really comfortable. They're like kind of like a memory foam. They're squishy. And there is lumbar support, which is really nice. The wheel feels really nice. The visibility is really good. The dash is really long and wide. So I do appreciate that. And then the trunk space is fantastic. It's really deep. And then you also have a front trunk called a frunk. So overall, it's a pretty decent car for the price. I think it's really good. I mean, you have autopilot. It's just a matter of doing it safely and knowing, yeah. A lot of good space. The seats fold down. Oh. Pretty spacious.